This Larry the Cable Guy, Robbie Gould, and Kevin Millar edition of the Sports Gambling Podcast is presented by WynnBet. Bet $10 at WynnBet and get $200 in free bets. Bet big, win bigger with WynnBet. Download the WynnBet app now or visit wynnbet.com and start winning today. We're also brought to you by Coors Light. Get mountain cold refreshment delivered straight to your door via Drizzly or Instacart by going to CoorsLight.com/SGP. That's CoorsLight.com/SGP. We're also brought to you by Stable Duel. Stable Duel is a horse racing DFS app where you can play free and paid games for real cash prizes. You can win as much as $40,000 with one entry. Head over to StableDuel.com to get started today. We're also brought to you by PropSwap, America's marketplace to buy and sell sports bets. Use promo code SGP on your first deposit to receive up to $500 in bonus cash. Head over to PropSwap.com or download the PropSwap app today. And of course, make sure to download the SGPN app, your home for all of our free picks and podcasts.
Hey, this is Larry the Cable Guy, and you're listening to SGPN. Let her run and get her done.
Cox. He's one of those guys who will get penetration.
Welcome everyone to the Sports Gambling Podcast. I'm Sean, stacking the money green with my partner in picks, Ryan, Real Money Kramer. What's happening, Kramer? Dog.
Oh, well, I'm big. You're a little bit smaller on the screen, youtube.com/sports gambling podcast. But Sean, we are here to talk about a lot of things.
Yes, we have a interview based episode talking with a bunch of guys, all promoting the Club Corp Classic this weekend on the Golf Channel, Friday to Sunday. Bunch of celebrities, bunch of former athletes and current athletes, and we got Larry the Cable Guy. Awesome arm wrestling story. Definitely want to hear that. Robbie Gould, great interview, even though I enraged him at one point. And then Kevin Millar with a bunch of great nuggets from his time with the Red Sox and a couple other. He had a ton of good stuff. So awesome interviews. Make sure you guys, check them all out. And if you're getting down on this week's action, of course, NBA, MLB, they even got some USFL lines that post right before kick. So get down on that. WynnBet, of course. Download that Wynn betting app. Bet $10, win $200 in free bets. $100,000 deposit, 100% deposit bonus up to $1,000. Their sweet same game parlay feature, aka build your own bet. And again, they have some sweet parlay boosts. Anytime you get down on a parlay, you spin a wheel. It's invigorating. The rush is real. Highly recommend get down on the parlays. I cashed one of their suggested same game parlays that they give you a little odds boost for. Just got down on a 3-team baseball parlay. Ryan, baseball, Sean is back. And of course, download that Wynn betting app. Offer subject to change, terms and conditions at wynnbet.com. Must be 21 or older and present in the state where playthrough WynnBet is available. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, call 1-800-522-4700. Before we get to the interviews, draft week is right around the corner. We're going to be doing a bunch of awesome live shows, celebrity guests, getting you ready for the NFL draft starting Wednesday. We will be live in Las Vegas, Blue Wire Studios. It's going to be awesome. Highly recommend subscribe to the YouTube channel so you catch all the episodes live. YouTube.com/sports gambling podcast. But we got an extra draft day bonus NFL prop. Draft Day Lock brought to you by Coors Light. Every day can be draft day when you're enjoying mountain cold refreshment that's made to chill. Just go to CoorsLight.com/SGP to get yours delivered today. Ryan, it is becoming pretty obvious from the chatter, from the shifting odds, that Desmond Ridder to be a first round pick at -120 feels like a great bet.
I think we're seeing the true smoke. I think we were one of the first outlets to tell you go grab over 3.5 quarterbacks in the first round. Definitely grab over 2.5. We've seen 3s out there, and it had to be Corral or Ridder, one of these guys. It sounds like it could be both. Ridder now being tied to the Saints, potentially the Titans, the Lions if they come back in, with their second pick. it seems more and more likely that this is a lead pipe lock, and the fact that we can still get this price at -120, it seems crazy. I think, like, again, I know I've been touting where the prices are going to go. I've been right more than I've been wrong. Drake London somehow letting me down. But boy, does it seem like this is going to be a heavy -200 bet by the time we're on Thursday night.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's not a great quarterback class. That does not stop teams from selecting a quarterback in the first round. Get that extra year of control on the contract, and wouldn't be surprised if a couple teams trade up towards the end of the first round and sneak in a Desmond Ridder if he falls towards the bottom of the first round. So I've also seen over under draft position at 29.5. So I would make sure you find that Desmond Ridder goes in the first round, because I think there is a chance he could go 30, 31 or 32. So find that Desmond Ridder to be drafted in the first round, get the best price you can there. But yeah, Desmond Ridder feels like a first round pick. And I think a lot of his game tape will be, NFL scouts will be on board.
And I would say, like, highly specific. If he's still out there and it's getting near that point in the draft where the Chiefs have a couple picks, look for someone to come up, grab him with that 50-yard control.
100%. And remember, whatever draft day you're celebrating, remember to celebrate responsibly. Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. Joining us on the line, stand-up comedian and celebrity golfer. You can see him at the Club Corp Classic this weekend on the Golf Channel, Larry the Cable.
Well, we going turkey hunting afterwards, so I don't know what else we'll do, but golf goes. These things I always try to improve every time I do them. I always play really good in these pro-ams, and then once Friday starts, it's all downhill. So
now, what do you think happens on Friday that you start to unravel as far as your golf? Now, last time we had you on, we were talking American Century Championship. You got 69th place. So congrats on that. You beat out a number of comedians, including Ray Romano. So I feel like as a comic, the number one goal is to beat out the other comedians, right?
Well, that's the thing. I want to get higher and higher in the deal. I started out dead last with Charles, and then I beat Charles and Kevin Nealon. Then I think I beat Charles, Kevin Nealon, and then two late additions that came in later that didn't even golf.
They just showed up.
Right. And then, so it's getting better every year, but you definitely want to beat the other comedians. That's a fact.
Yeah. Yeah. Cause obviously, you're going to get your chops busted if you don't beat them out. We also talked Nebraska football last season when we had you on. Nebraska, they felt like they were close in a bunch of games. Kind of disappointing season. What are you looking forward to in 2020? I know Scott Frost is back. What's the goal for Nebraska football?
Well, the goal is to win 8 games, go to a bowl game.
Oh yeah,
7 games, go to a bowl game. Look, poor Scott. I feel bad for him. It's not like he had 2020, and then you had to clean house from the other coach and all the stuff that was left over from that. And I think that he's hired Whipple. I think Whipple's pretty good. They got the talent. I mean, you saw last year we were 4 or 5 points. We were a possession away from winning every game last year. So we just did stupid things in the fourth quarter. So if they can rectify that, I know the line's bigger. We saw the spring game. The line's definitely a lot bigger. They're getting some pretty good push. I sound like a coach. I'm not even a coach.
You got all the coach speak down. We're turning the corner as a program. Really like what we're building. I got some new guys coming in the transfer portal. This is our year.
It's all about looking in the windshield right now, right? We're looking forward. And honestly, you kind of sound like myself a couple years ago as a Virginia Tech fan, trying to talk yourself into the excitement around what Fuente brought to me and the Hokie fan base. Feels like Scott Foster, a little bit of the same thing. Off season, we got the hype. We're excited. Is he going to do it this year though? Are we getting there? Because a bowl game sounds fun, but I also don't want you to be disappointed at the end of the season.
I think we will. Look, it's almost like I got a coach's notes right here. I'm like, well, we got some, bro. We're going to work these out. We just need practice harder, and we'll get things. That's what I feel like. But me personally, as a fan, I longed so much. I mean, I don't know how many times I've worn out all my 1990s CDs. I go home after the regular, then pop in a game that was, who did we play last year at this time? Pop that CD in.
Just relive the glory days. Get all the Tommy Frazier going.
But look, we lost a couple of those guys on defense. I think they're replacing them pretty well. I think we're going to be fine. I really do. I will improve on next year. Do I feasibly think 8 games is possible? Yes, I do. So as a fan, I'm thinking we can win 8 and go to a bowl game. I don't think we're there yet to go into Ann Arbor and beat Michigan. Even though we almost beat Michigan last year.
Yeah, you guys hung around. You had a lot of close losses, which I think was frustrating, especially as someone who bet the over on the Nebraska win total, which I probably will do again this year because I'm guessing the number. Ryan, what do you think the number on the Nebraska win total would be at?
It will be lower than 8. So I think Larry is telling us we need to take the over.
Yeah, I think it's lower than 8 too. But I really think we just watch them in practice and hearing them talk and seeing who we got coming in. I think we can hit 8. I really do. So it was really funny. Scott always plays in my golf tournament. I got a golf tournament there in Lincoln, Nebraska. He always plays in it. Scott's a buddy of mine. But I always roast all my celebrities. And so last year he came and I said, Scott, we love you here at Lincoln. I love you. Do me a favor. Don't you ever, no matter what they say, don't you ever stop coaching at Nebraska like you did last year.
Oh no! I hope he took it well.
Out. Hey, you don't want your chops busted. You gotta hit the over on the win total. Now we've been talking a lot of college football. Obviously, the transfer portal is huge. A lot of times these kids make the switch because of some enticing NIL deal that brings them to the school. I know you're a big backer of the Nebraska football program. You also have a premium drink mix that you're selling now on Amazon, the Bloody Larry. Any chance you can get some big guys from the transfer portal as part of a Bloody Larry NIL deal?
I'll tell you what, that Bloody Larry mix is fantastic. I actually, that is endorsed, not officially, but it is endorsed by a sorority in Lincoln. I had a girl come up to me. Where was I? Oh yeah, I was getting another tooth put in up at the dentist.
Well, now that sounds like a Bloody Larry.
And the girl came over. She caught me outside. She goes, I just want to let you know your Bloody Larry mix is fantastic. And it's the only Bloody Mary mix that we use at the sorority. And she said the name of it. I don't remember what it is. But anyway, it's a big hit with the sorority girls. So there you go.
Wow. Yeah, no, sorority girls. I'm sure it's great firing. Bloody Marys go great golfing.
It sounds appetizing too. The Bloody Larry. Come on.
I know it is weird. One of those things. Bloody Mary doesn't scare me away, but Bloody Larry is something interesting visually.
Hey,
you know what? While we were looking up some nuggets for you to talk about, my co-host found this one, and I don't know how we didn't ask you last time, but walk us through this. You were at a Nebraska game in 2016, hanging out in the box. Someone challenged you to an arm wrestling match. Is that true?
Oh yeah. Did you see that on the internet? I won't ever arm wrestle again. I'm done arm wrestling because it freaks me out every time so this guy comes out to me. I always have 6 National Guardsmen. I leave 6 seats open so 6 guard guys can come up and watch a game every week. And this guy comes up to me at halftime and he's like, hey Larry, you mind if I arm wrestle you and video it for my dad? He loves you. I'm like, yeah, I guess. I go, what arm? I mean, I'm left-handed. What arm you want to use? And he takes his shirt off and he flexes. And that guy didn't have an ounce of body fat on him. No, he was probably only about 5'9", but this dude was put together. Anyway, and then he flexes and he goes, pick an arm, brother. I'm like, oh my gosh. And my wife gives me that look like, dude, this guy's going to kill you. Get in the whole thing. I got my little boy starting us off. So my little boy's got his hands on there. And we start and I'm like going, is this guy holding back or am I like you know, am I like country fat strong here all of a sudden? Because I knew he's got to be toying with me because he's just staring straight at me. He's not making a face. And I'm going hard and he's not straight. I go, man, in any second, this guy's going to put me down. So you know how you always have that you're about out of, you're like, okay, I can't go anymore. She just give that one little last breath.
Yeah.
Okay, and this is it. So I do that, and literally, this is what I hear. I hear a pop like that, and his arm wilts. And I go, dude, was that your arm? And you can see his face is white as it turns white. Oh. And he goes, yeah, I think so. And I go, you broke your arm? And then all of a sudden I saw his eyes. And fortunately, my buddy was there, who was a doctor. And I said, Bobby, come here. I think he broke his arm. And he comes over and he goes, hey, where'd you? He goes, let's lay you down. Let's lay you down. Now the guy's about to pass out.
My God.
I'm not kidding. It was the craziest thing. And you could hear it. And the whole thing, it was loud. You could hear it pop. But the funny thing about it was, so now he's on the ground. He's in my suite box as a guest. So Larry, the cable guy, breaks his arm while and as he's on the ground and my doctor's there, Mike Rozier walks in the door and he goes, hey, Larry, I haven't seen you. What the?
He got some guy laying about to pass out from a broken arm. Oh, man.
He gets him some ice, and then All-American Tony Davis, that used to run for us back in 78. And the Tony Davis comes walking in. So this guy, I break his arm. He's got an All-American and a Heisman Trophy winner putting ice.
He's meeting all these these famed Nebraska football players. Can't even shake their hand because he's got a broken arm from trying to challenge Larry the cable guy.
Sean, we have to note this. They go hard in Nebraska. We'll factor this into the win total handicap.
Yeah. Oh my God. That is an amazing story. And that's a great story for that other guy. Cause if you're going to break your arm, falling out of a tree or some, tractor accident, but to break your arm, losing to Larry the cable guy in arm wrestling, that's a hell of a story.
Really? And he asked me if he could put it on, social media, and I said, yeah, do what you want. It's probably going to get a lot of views, and it's probably what's it got, 8-something million views, 6 million.
Oh yeah. We got to make sure when we post the episode, we'll include a link because it is amazing to see you just destroy him.
So many stories. I was telling. Can I tell my pot story?
Oh yeah, it's 420. We're taping this on 420, so perfect time for a pot story.
It would be an honor, Larry.
Well, the reason I'm thinking about this is because I was telling these guys on the 18th hole today, we had a pro-am, and I said, I've never smoked pot in my life. And I said, except one time. And it was at the Willie Nelson 4th of July party that he threw. Willie invited me, and I got there, and there's $2,500 waiting for me on the bus. And I said, I don't want his money. I'm honored to be a part of this whole thing. Or he says, well, go give it back to him yourself. He's on the bus. So I'm all nervous. I walk over, I knock on Willie Nelson's bus, and the door opens up. This billow of smoke comes out, like they just elected, 2 popes or something. And all I hear through the door is, well, get her done, Larry. Right? I'm like, what the hell is Chris Christopher? I'm like, holy mackerel, that's Chris Christopherson. I walk on there, there's Ray Price. And I'm like, oh, my country heroes, this is the greatest thing. So Willie comes out. Of course, he hands me a joint right off the bat. And I'm like, well, I look at him and say, Willie, I don't smoke pot. I've never have, but I'll do it with you for the story. So I do this. I don't even know if I know what I'm doing. And I'm on this bus passing a thing around to all my honky-tonk heroes. Now I'm getting sick. I'm getting nauseous. I think I'm like getting paranoid. It's like, oh, the cop's going to walk in. I'm going to go to jail. That kind of thing. I'm going to die. My mom,
completely paranoid.
My mom's going to be mad at me because I died of drugs and Willie Nelson. That kind of thing. So some guy walks in. He goes, Larry, you got 5 minutes. And I go, okay. And Willie Nelson goes, you're going on stage in 5 minutes? I said, I guess. One of the greatest moments of my career, just because they're so famous and heroes of mine. Willie Nelson looks at Ray Price and he goes, come on, Ray, we got to go out and watch this disaster.
How did it go? How did your set go? Were you messing up your catchphrase, or how did?
I don't remember much of it. I do know I was funny. I do know that. But anyway, I just fresh off the course. I remembered that. I had to tell you that.
Oh yeah, that's an all timer. And yeah, I mean that's a weird introduction to weed. You're hanging out with all your country heroes. No wonder you would be paranoid because you're like, am I living in a dream? I'm hanging out with Willie Nelson.
It was so bizarre. So
you're saying
fun story. Are you kidding me?
You're predicting the Cornhuskers 8 wins, possible bowl game, correct?
I do think so. That is my honest opinion. Of course, last year I said 9 wins. So we'll see how it goes. But I think so. Yeah, I will say, though, the only thing, the portal, I don't like the portal because I remember back when they didn't do that, and you had the guys for 4 years and they were faithful to the school and they were playing for the school and for the N. It doesn't seem like these guys are playing for the N anymore. They're just playing to get to the next level. And it kind of takes away a little bit, I think, from the fandom, this is your team and you have a history. And I think it takes away a little bit of that. If you don't think you're going to play, then you bolt and go somewhere else, That's why I like that. Oh man, you guys got me on the spot. I can't remember his name, but the quarterback that started for us against Iowa. You remember he was the backup to Martinez from Alabama, that kid.
Oh, yeah.
It's really killing me. I can't think of his name. But this is why I like that kid. They got all these transfers coming in, and one from Texas and the guy from Florida State. This is what I like. He stayed faithful to the school. He didn't transfer out. He loves Nebraska and he wants to compete. So I actually hope he wins his starting role, because he's faithful to the Red End.
Yeah, and what do you think the solution is as far as the transfer portal? What do they do to get kids just completely eliminate it?
You know what it is? No, but it's this whole nil and all that. It's literally it's like arbitration without managers. You know what I mean? It's just go here. They'll offer you this, and they'll give you that, and they'll give you that. I mean, look at Texas A&M. What they dump $30 million to get a team.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. And there is no organization with it, I think, is what's really upsetting fans, where you to your point, where like you invest in these players and then all of a sudden they're gone 2 years later or a year later. And, that's what's the whole fun about college sports is, and you saw the issues with basketball, one and dones, and it kind of ate away at the sport a little bit. It's fun to see, a kid come in as a freshman and then work his way. And then, that senior year is special and you kind of connect with the class.
It's a relationship.
I agree that's missing.
And it's like in the 90s when Nebraska was the Alabama of the 90s, it's like those kids, a lot of those guys that played for us played 8-man football and 6-man football at Nebraska. A lot of your linemen, a lot of those kids, man, you knew they were just going to run through a wall just because they had an N on their helmet. It seems like with the whole nil and all the transfer portals, we've kind of lost a lot of that. And that was some of the fun about college football. But I get it. Times change and it is what it is. But I like it when they stay because they love the school and they love the tradition of the football team rather than it's all about me.
Yeah, you look it up. They spell team with 2 I's now, Larry. So you got to watch out in college.
Yeah, exactly. I still love it though, but that's a little discouraging watching all that kind of stuff happen. I mean, look at Nebraska's basketball team. We've got our basketball team. We're trying to get a good. Freddie Hoiberg is an unbelievably great coach.
Yeah.
But everybody comes in for 1 year and then they leave. They come in for 1 year and then they leave. I mean, if it would have been like it been in the old days, Freddie Hoiberg would have had 3 guys on his team this year, 4 guys on his team that are in the NBA. They would have all been on the same team. But,
Yeah.
2 years later, he's gone. You get another guy, he's gone.
You saw with the Peacocks, they made that crazy run, got to the Sweet 16, won a Sweet 16 first time a 15 seed ever did that. And then immediately after that year, the kids are transferring out because they want a better opportunity. But how fun would that be for that super small school to kind of, have a chance to run it back and make another run?
Absolutely. Now, I will say I like it for golf, the nil for golf, because, I was going to go play another tournament. I got $100,000 to play the club course, so I came here instead.
Oh, man. Well, taking care of you there. So, see, that's the thing. At the end of the day, if one comedy club's offering you, $100,000, the other one says, hey, we'll pay you $2,500, but you got to do it for the love of the comedy club. It's a little harder, right?
Where's your loyalty, Larry?
I'm the only celebrity golfer that has the nil program.
Well, I'm
not getting a dime.
Okay, yeah. I saw John Daly, who's playing in the Club Corp Classic as well. You can check it out on the Golf Channel this weekend. His son, actually, I think it was the first NIL deal for golf involving Hooters. His son, who John Daly II, who looks like a spitting image of his father, actually is now sponsored by Hooters.
Hey, you know what? Those are, if you can get those deals, get those deals.
I can only imagine a young, Larry the Cable Guy getting a Hooters endorsement deal for his golfing. Must have been. It's got to be pretty thrilling.
I would have been going for the same thing that Daly's kid's going for.
Yeah, just there for the food. Larry, I have to ask this question now. Your name
about Hooters, though, that the surroundings makes the food taste better. I don't know why that is.
It's the ambiance, right?
Yeah.
I have to ask this question. Your name is Larry the Cable Guy. Are you ever concerned with all the cord cutting going on in the country that at some point you'll have to change your name to Larry the streaming service guy, Larry the Hulu installer? What are you worried about the future of the cable guy industry?
No, I'm not worried about it. I told you know what though? I don't know why they don't do it. I keep telling DirecTV, you want to get somebody to do commercials for you, get me.
Yeah.
Cable guy has switched to DirecTV. I mean, what a perfect commercial. They're missing on it.
They're leaving money on the table. Yeah. Hulu, Amazon, Netflix, call up Larry the Cable Guy. I saw Netflix is in trouble a bit, and they should just say, hey, I made the switch. I got rid of cable. Now I'm Larry the Netflix guy.
Dude, it's the perfect commercial. I mean, there's no better person made for a commercial than me and DirecTV commercials, but they don't do it. They don't do it. I'm too controversial, I guess. That's I'm too controversial, but yet Snoop Dogg's doing 12 different.
We got to get you a show with Martha Stewart. That helps your image.
Right.
Then everyone will advertise with you.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Larry, again, appreciate the time. Best of luck at the Club Corp Classic. Watch Larry and all the awesome celebrities and former pros this weekend on the Golf Channel, Friday to Sunday. Give Larry a follow on Twitter at @GetHerDone. Larry, thanks so much, man. Appreciate the time as always.
Always appreciate you guys having me on, and the Club Corps, man. This is brand new. They've done such an awesome job, and it is such a good time. If you're in the area down here, come on by and check us out. Check out the guys, the senior tour, unbelievable. I mean, it's great golf. So come on out and see us.
Come on and hang out with Larry. Don't challenge him to arm wrestling unless you're ready to have your arm broken.
I'm going to leg wrestling now. Let's go.
All right. Thanks, Larry. Appreciate it, man.
Appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Awesome talking to Larry, the streaming guy. And while we're here taking a quick break, want to shout out Sleeper. You already use Sleeper for your fantasy football league, but do you know you can make cold hard cash taking over under on Sleeper? That's right. Over under on your favorite player props for the baseball, MLB. Perfect to get some extra action in the basketball playoffs. You can win as much as 2x or 20x. Again, download the Sleeper app, use our promo code SGP. You get 100% deposit up to $100. That's right. Download Sleeper, click on the over under game, use our promo code SGP, 100% deposit match up to $100. And again, really good pricing on some of these. The 3-teamer is up to plus 650. So good price there. Make sure you check out our buddies over at Sleeper. Terms and conditions apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. Ryan, how are you feeling? How is Athletic Greens and AG1 been treating you?
Oh, it's been amazing. I still owe the social media world a slow motion of me getting my AG1 prepared in the morning.
Shaker bottle. Come on.
Now that we're on day, I don't know, are we 2 weeks in yet, Sean? I feel like time's flying. It's been at least a couple weeks, and I got to be honest. I don't exactly know what an adaptogen is, but I feel like I as a human, I'm adapting and evolving.
Yes.
Soy Boy's feeling better than he ever has. No back pain here.
No, AG1 has been, I've always had stomach issues. I do feel like the AG1 has been helping me. Again, not only is it super healthy for you, but the taste is really good. I think you'll be surprised at how easy it goes down and how you look forward to your AG1 every morning. 75 high quality vitamins, minerals, whole food source, superfoods, probiotics, and adaptogens. 7,000 5-star reviews, better sleep quality and recovery. And to make it easy, Athletic Greens is going to give you a free 1-year supply of immune supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. All you have to do is visit athleticgreens.com/SGP. That's athleticgreens.com/SGP to take ownership over your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutritional insurance. Joining us on the line, NFL kicker for the San Francisco 49ers and a celebrity golfer at the Club Corp Classic this weekend, Friday to Sunday on the Golf Channel, Mr. Robbie Gould. What's happening, Robbie?
What's up, guys? How are you? Thanks for having me.
Oh yeah. Thanks for coming on the show. I've been a fan because I was actually at Penn State the same years you were. You started at what, 2001?
Yeah. 2001 to 2005. We are
Penn State. Let's go. I always wondered, you're good at golf, you're good at kicking. Is it just a hand-eye coordination thing?
Yeah, I think it's also a little bit similar to field goal kicking, right? So for me, it's awesome to be able to go out and just kind of get away from football, but you're trying to pick a line, you're trying to read the right to left, left to right wins. Same thing with putts. So it's kind of fun to be able to go work on the mental part of kicking when my golf game is going all over the place. So trick shots galore for me, right?
Yeah,
right.
I saw you. I saw a video on the internet of you breaking your club on a trick shot. What happened there?
Yeah, well, they were flipping it up with a wedge, and then they're like, just swing as hard as you can. Joe Carter was around, so it's always nice when you have a World Series, long time, should be Hall of Fame baseball player teaching you how to swing a club like a baseball bat, right? So got kind of lucky, got a little roper about left center, which is nice, and might be one of my greatest athletic accomplishments of all time.
Talking about the hand-eye coordination and Penn State, you're good at golf, good at kicking. How good were you at beer pong? Because I feel like a lot of that translates similar. You have a little warm up, you got a nice release, good follow through.
Yeah, we like to play a lot of, just keep the doors closed, keep the wind down a little bit, focus on, just a little left and right upright.
You talk about the wind. Of course, you had some clutch kicks for the 49ers in Lambeau. What's it like kicking in a just a weather environment like Lambeau?
Well, it was negative degrees, so it was a little colder than I'm used to now that I'm playing in San Francisco. I think the coldest game we played in was like 35, maybe 40 degrees. So it was definitely cold. The snow made it a little more difficult. Tabor, Pepper, and Mitch and all the guys who snap, hold, kick, block, did awesome. And then obviously we didn't score an offensive touchdown. So to be able to go out there and win a game, not doing that, moving the ball as well as we did, play as well as we did on special teams after the week we had before that, kind of gave up a block punt or a fake punt and got them back in the game. So it was nice to rebound, but I think that's why Aaron Rodgers isn't here at the Club Corp Classic. I don't know if he's ready to give me a hug yet or not. So yeah,
I like that. You guys celebrate again. I had you guys on the money line, so I was also celebrating that victory.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Well, real quick, Sean, I got to ask, because we always hear about the, he was kicking this direction preseason and he went to the coach and said, I'm good from this. Like, how real is that? Like on a bad weather day, do you go directly to the head coach and say, Coach, I'm good from 52? Yeah,
we have a game plan going into it, but that game plan can change. I mean, obviously we were downwind there, but in pregame, you're pretty amped up. You're not like as amped up as you are in a regular game. So we thought it was like 56, maybe. But here we are in a tie ball game. You're trying to give Aaron Rodgers the ball back for 56 seconds, I think it was. And we're going to try to hit maybe a 56 yarder. Kyle calls a good play, a couple guys make an awesome play to get a first down. It gets us to, 45 yards. I think the big thing in weather like that, where it's snowing and it's windy, you want to make sure you get in the right place on the field. So 1 for footing, and then 2 just because of the wind.
Yeah, no, totally. Now Kyle Shanahan, he's known for kind of having creative play calling, using guys in different spots. Is there anything in the playbook, and maybe don't reveal too much, but of you maybe throwing the ball, maybe like a read option on a fake field goal? What else do you bring to the 49ers skill set wise besides
kicking?
It's
going to be Trent Williams and Robbie Gould running the around play like they did it against Green Bay. It's going to be him leading the way, and it's just going to be speed bumping off of him. So you guys will enjoy it. I think it'll be great. It'll be the silverback versus the little skinny kicker.
Oh yeah. You get Trent Williams in front of you as a lead blocker. I feel like a lot of guys could pick up some yards behind him.
We're just a great wedge. I mean, both of us have size, muscle, speed, all the things you need, to play my position.
Yeah, they got rid of the fullback, but Robbie's old school. He can double as a fullback in there, bust up some wedges. I got to say though, as far as kickers, you've cornered the market in the most swag when it comes to warming up, because all these videos go viral of you warming up kicking when the other team's right there and you're just cold-blooded. You look like a robot out there, dialed into your routine, kicking right around, player introductions, whatever. Walk us through the mindset. Do you just go, hey, I need to warm up, I'm allowed to warm up at this time, I'm going to do it?
Well, I'm not really sure how this became viral, because in the Dallas game, when it first went, the cheerleaders are going down both hashes, there was no one around me. And the next thing you know, the cheerleaders start coming down both hashes to exit. I was better off kicking in the middle of the hash where I was, having been there for 5 minutes. And then they came stomping through, and I was like, I'm just going to kick. If I hit them, I got to retire, So, and then Green Bay, that wasn't that big of a deal. They made bigger of a deal about it because of Dallas. And then the one in LA I did on purpose. I mean, we were warming up at halftime, and the guys were coming out on kickoff return, and they were just walking. Like, I was literally kicking, and they were walking across. And I just didn't stop. Like, it's no regard for it. Now, they have what I wanted, a Super Bowl ring, but I didn't care if I hit them. That was the only one that I would tell you that I'll take fully credit for anything going viral on my warm-up routine. But usually I'm pretty good about staying away from everybody.
I like that. Stand your ground. Respect the kicker. I mean, as a youth soccer coach myself, we're each entitled to one half of that warm up. If you're going to huddle right by midfield, you bet your ass I'm going to be running drills right there. So I love the moxie.
Very Mike Ditka of you, by the way.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Very Mike Ditka.
I'm somewhere between Ted Lasso and Mike Ditka on the youth soccer pitch.
That's an interesting combination. Now you mentioned Ditka, of course, all-time Bear, but I would actually, I think you certainly deserve to be in the running for all-time Bears, because you are still the active points leader for the Chicago Bears. I know all my Bear fan, listeners were just like, hey, you have to ask Robbie about his time at the Bears. So what did it mean starting your career there and just your connection to that franchise?
Well, first of all, I mean, you're always thankful to get a start somewhere. The Bears gave me an opportunity. It was supposed to be a 3-week stint, kicking short field goals and extra points. And that turned into an 11-year career where, I've had a couple sons born in the city of Chicago. I kind of grew up there as a player, obviously playing there for 11 years. And then, going back, and we beat them on 5 field goals after I leave. And then obviously the Green Bay game. So for me, the city and the fans mean a lot. No matter where I've gone or where I've played, they've always been cheering me on, or, sending me some nice messages on social media. That we've been in 2 NFC championships in the last 3 years. And I probably get a lot of Bear fans commenting like, hey, we're rooting for you and cheering for you to go win a Super Bowl, which is pretty unique, but it also speaks to the level of, what that fan base, I think means to me, but also what I mean to them.
Yeah, no, all time fan base. And it feels like some of the Green Bay hatred that you had while you were a Bear carried over to now you as a 49er. Is that true? Did it kind of hang around the rivalry?
Yeah, I think I've played them almost 17 times, and obviously, or 17 years. I've probably played them over 30 times, but I think the hard part is, there's certain games that you just don't like. Seattle's one of them. It's always been that way. I don't know why, but now playing in the division with the 49ers, Green Bay carries the same kind of weight. But yeah, anytime you go out there and you're playing Aaron Rodgers and some of these great quarterbacks, it's going to be a battle. And as a kicker, we know it's going to come down to a field goal probably. So it's going to be an extra point or a field goal that's missed that separates the game. And, it's a difference between a coach getting fired or you making the playoffs and winning a Super Bowl.
Yeah, no, it's insane how much kickers obviously can swing a game with the kick at the end of the game, and how much kind of hangs on to the season, the players, even the franchise. It's pretty crazy. As an Eagles fan, I was certainly glad it wasn't
you. I am so sorry for you.
Well, I was going to say, I was certainly glad.
I'm so sorry for you.
I was going to say, I'm certainly glad it wasn't you lining up again when we played the Bears and there's the infamous double doink. So not to throw Cody Parkey under the bus, but I'm glad he was out there and not you for that double doink game.
Yeah, we were at the game. I took my two kids there and kind of showed them like their first real Bear game with Dad. It's my first spectator game too. So
wow. So now I feel like I didn't know this before. I almost feel like maybe you threw a little extra breeze into that kick. The curse of letting Robbie Gould go maybe came back to haunt him there.
It's a fraternity. You don't wish ill will upon anyone, but I think the unique part about being able to go back there is, I've never, other than a couple of Super Bowls, I've never been a spectator at any game. So to be there with my kids in the stands and being able to watch it, you're still rooting for the Bears, even though they caught you 3 years earlier. So, but
yeah,
hey,
they went from cutting Robbie Gould to holding open auditions to see if someone could hit a 37-yarder at a bar there. Robbie, I got to ask, for this Club Corp Classic, we had Larry the Cable Guy on, and he was talking about wanting to beat the other comedians. Are there other athletes, other celebrities that you're kind of judging yourself like, hey, if I beat him, I'm going to feel happy?
I'm just here to have fun. I think what Club Corp's doing with Choctaw Casino Resort, I mean, to be able to put this on for their first annual Champions Tour event, get this group of celebrities to come out and VIPs to play, and then be able to meet their sponsors over the last couple of days. I mean, every company you could possibly think of in the golf community is here, and just happy to get the invite. And, I haven't played in 6 months. I left California, came to Chicago, and it snowed the Monday after Easter. So I'm just happy I'm getting 80-degree weather. Now, you guys can turn down the fan for me here. It's about 40-mile-per-hour winds. I'd rather golf in that than kicking it for sure.
Yeah, that's and do you have a is with kicking and golf? Is there a similar kind of I guess you would call it swing thoughts? Like you have a mental thing you go through before you either hit the kick or swing the club?
Yeah, it's the same thing. You go behind the ball, you try to pick out a spot, you take your steps back, try to find a tempo and a rhythm, and then you're judging the wind right to left or left to right to figure how far you're going to play it, and then obviously everything's tempo for me. Everything's, just having a smooth swing, slow it down. But I think, the best part about it is I learn more from golf and take it into my kicking than I do my kicking, bring it into my golf game. So hopefully I can channel some of that kicking this weekend because I'm going to need it because I've been all over the place.
You've been spraying a little left and right. Now talking about the 49ers going into this season, obviously you guys got to the NFC Championship, had the lead there for a little bit, ended up losing, unfortunately, to the Rams.
Thanks for bringing that back up. No, seriously. thanks for the.
I'm sure you're over it.
Fresh. It's still fresh. Yes. It's
so it does feel like that's the. You had an awesome career. It does seem like.
Thank you. No, seriously. No, thanks. Thanks for rebounding there. No, thanks.
Hey, I'm an Eagles fan.
I was watching the Super Bowl from your couch. That was great. Thanks for asking. No, just
it's a great view. We also watched it from the couch this year.
Yeah, super comfortable. Highly recommend the experience. Now, a couple of years ago, as far as like off-season stuff, a couple of years ago, you had requested a trade from the 49ers. They didn't end up trading you. Smart move by them. And then you ended up re-signing. You guys kind of worked things out. walk us through that process. And, was there ever any sort of like tension with management? You resigned, but walk us through that process.
Well, I think any player is looking to get compensated the way that they deserve to be compensated. When I played my first 2 years in San Francisco, I made 96% of my field goals, right? Which is the highest in franchise history. Nobody wants to play under a franchise tag. You want more security than the 1 year. And they didn't do anything that they weren't allowed to. You know what I mean? They didn't do anything that was outside the CBA. And I didn't do anything that wasn't outside the CBA either. There's just a strategy that goes into play for both the organization and the player. You'll see that kind of the whole way across the board, from Debo now in our locker room to Devontae Adams, Aaron Rodgers. You can kind of go through the list of guys, and agents and players have a strategy in order to try to figure out how to put pressure on an organization to get a deal done. But at the end of the day, we were able to come to an agreement. It just took till the very last minute to do it. But it's been awesome to be a 49er. I've enjoyed my time there, and the York family is incredible to work for. I mean, anything you need, anything you want, they give you. So they give you everything you need to be successful. And that's why they've been so successful and winning so many championships, but also being right there at the end a lot. I mean, we've been, like I said, they've probably been in 4 NFC championships or more probably in the last 10 years. It's pretty good. So
when you, in the locker room, when you see another guy request a trade from the team, I would imagine guys in the locker room don't take it personally because they just see it as like, hey, he's using whatever leverage he can against the ownership.
Well, no, I think a lot of it comes down to, you've probably been there as a player in negotiations, right? An organization's meant to tell you how bad you are, no matter how much they love you during the year. That's just the way it is. And no team wants to set a market for a player at any position. So, they'll do whatever they can in their power to try to string it along as much as possible and frustrate you. But, there's not a whole lot that can frustrate me at 39 years old. You know what I mean? I've seen most of it. The only thing I haven't done is been traded. But we've been under the franchise tag a couple times and managed to get deals done. It's just, got to find a common ground and, you got to get to the table and try to have those discussions. Unfortunately, in my situation, we just didn't have those very much after the franchise tag happened because, I tell my agent, don't bother me unless you have something concrete. So until probably, I was actually at the American Century Championship. I'll never forget. I was on the 18th fairway negotiating a deal with Trent Dilfer was in the middle of the fairway with me. So do you like ask Trent for advice, or your caddy like, hey, they're saying 3.5 guaranteed. Should I hold out? What do you think, Trent? No, Trent was a big part of why my deal got done in San Francisco.
Oh, really?
I had no idea, the relationship he had with John Lynch, and, he had asked me some questions. I gave him some very candid answers, and, I love Trent to death. I think he's one of the best people I've ever been a part of around. And, thankfully Trent was there to kind of mediate some of that too. He was awesome.
Wow. I didn't know that. And it's interesting for pro sports. You don't think like a personal recommendation makes a huge difference, but
it's a relationship business, Sean.
Exactly. That's the that's the soccer coach.
To replace him, you call me. I got you covered. You know what I mean? I got you covered.
And just to kind of follow up on the Niners locker room, I mean, I think Sean and I maybe need to be convinced a little bit, but I think the general Niners fan base seems very excited. How excited should we be for Trey Lance?
Well, I think he should be really excited. I think the athleticism that he brings to the table, I think the ability to sit behind Jimmy G for a year has given him the ability to learn the offense, but it's also given him the ability to kind of see what it's like to prepare for games on a weekly basis. He also has a rapport with the players now because most of the guys will be back on offense. So listen, who knows what's going to happen down the road? It's one day you think something's going to happen and the next thing, it doesn't happen. So
Ryan was trying to get you to give us some insight on who's going to be the day one starter so we can make a big wager on it. But sounds like you're going to keep that close to the vest.
I'm a pro.
Let's put it to you this way. They started Tuesday. I'm here playing golf right now. So I got my boss has let me off the hook. I'm not throwing him under the bus anytime soon.
Breaking news. Yeah. Robbie Gould is not attending voluntary workouts with the San Francisco 49ers.
We can big wager that. I know that for sure as a winner.
That's great. Is it true do kickers and punters, do you guys play as much golf? You always hear these stories of like hey, they don't really practice that much and they're out golfing a bunch while we're doing the real football stuff. I feel like, is that how it is now, or is that more of an old school thing?
It doesn't happen as much. I think schedules are now more condensed, but as Trent Dilfer would say, we're just a bunch of online shoppers. That's probably happening more now than actual golfing. So, although Trent's probably shopping right now, buying a new pair of shoes, sitting on the sideline. So, but yeah, I mean, it's nice to have some of that downtime, but the cool thing about being a specialist in the NFL is you get to talk to everybody. You get to be around every group. It's not like you're just stuck in a DB room all day long. So it's kind of unique to be able to be around everybody, coaches and staff included in that category.
Yeah, that's all. One final question, Robbie, and you're the first kicker we've had on the program, professional. Ryan's done some amateur stuff. We had a big argument going on the podcast of whether or not Ryan could hit a 47-yard field goal. We were able to get out on Giant Stadium, and I think he attempted a 37-yarder.
It was cold. I didn't get to stretch. I had the distance, missed a little bit to the right. Let it slide right. So I'll be back.
You know what? The winds there are pretty brutal too. So kick whatever end zone you are kicking in, kick the other way.
I appreciate that, Robbie. I appreciate
the swirling winds. Is it true that the NFL, or just professional kicking in general, which would be mostly the NFL, that they don't want left-footed kickers? Like the idea of a professional left-footed kicker, I was trying to rack my brain to think of some famous left-footed kickers, and I was really struggling. Is that something that they're just totally against because it messes up the rest of the special teams?
I think it's hard. I mean, Sebastian Janikowski is one of the greatest to do it, obviously. Giorgio Tavecchio is another kid that played recently. Justin Medlock went up, played in Canada as well. I think the hard part is a lot of holders have to learn how to then catch the ball both directions, right? So most kickers in the NFL are right-footed. So it's hard to get a left-footed kicker to come in and replace somebody unless that person has had experience holding for a left-footed kicker. So, I think as a left-footed kicker, there's a lot of guys who are really, really talented and deserve to be in the NFL. It's just a matter of can the holder hold for a left-footed kicker, and I think that's the biggest. I'll say barrier to entry, right, for those guys to get in and stay in.
Oh yeah, totally. No, that makes sense. Well, Robbie, appreciate coming on. Appreciate your time. Good luck with the Club Corp Classic on the Golf Channel, Friday to Sunday. What can we get a round prediction for you? What do you end up shooting?
I don't know. I'll probably be low 80s. Hopefully, I'm going to try to make a lot of pars and hopefully keeps my score low. Maybe a few birdies. We'll see. But excited to be out here. Excited to be on the show with you guys. Rye, if you need a replacement after the Super Bowl comment, I'm your guy. All right.
All right. Yes. Look forward to the Sports Gambling Podcast hosted by Ryan Kramer and Robbie Gould.
Oh, I love it.
Thanks, Robbie. Appreciate it, man.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
All right. Looking forward to that Robbie Gould, Ryan Kramer podcast coming to you soon. You're on the internet. You're browsing. Hey, what are you up to? Hey, it's none of my business. You don't have to tell me, but you may be telling people you don't want to tell, aka your ISP, hackers, advertisers, whoever it is. You want your internet action to be safe, secure, and protected. And you can do that all with IPVanish, the official VPN of the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. We use it over on our God's Eye viewing device. You can use it on your Fire Stick. Best thing about IPVanish, unlimited devices, and it doesn't slow down your browsing. Highly recommend you locking up your internet activity. IPVanish.com/SGP. You can get 70% off their yearly plan and a 30-day money back guarantee. Getting like 9 months free. I don't know how they do this, but IPVanish.com/SGP, 70% off their yearly plan. Get your VPN and get it running there. Stable Duel, of course, looking a lot of action going on. MLB, basketball, but you can always use a little bonus action. That's where Stable Duel comes to play. You can win as much as $15,000 with one entry. It's horse racing DFS. It's simplified. You don't know anything about horses? Don't worry. The app gives you a bunch of data. We have a bunch of free picks and information over at sportsgamblingpodcast.com and in our Slack channel, help you get started. You can also play the free games or the paid games all over at stableduel.com. See how many winners you can pick in your stable. I'll see you in the winner's circle. Play race, win. And of course, as always, our good buddies over at PropSwap.com. Use our promo code SGP, get that instant deposit bonus up to $500. Perfect time to be buying and selling some futures when it comes to the NBA playoffs, the NHL playoffs. Maybe you got the Sixers to win the series, got a nice juicy price. It's 3-0. Maybe you're a little worried they would unravel. They're not going to, but if you want to hedge it, perfect time to hedge. Or if you're looking to buy, you can buy as well. Buy and sell real sports bets. Perfect way to find the best price on your hedge. And if you use the promo code SGP, PropSwap will match your deposit up to $500. That's PropSwap.com, promo code SGP. Joining us on the line here, World Series champion Kevin Millar. Kevin, thanks for coming on the program.
Boys, thanks for having me.
That's got to be awesome, right? Every time you get introduced, you're reminded of the fact that you won a World Series.
Yeah, it's reminded of the fact that I was David Ortiz's teammate and Pedro Martinez and Kurt Schilling and Manny Ramirez. So that was just lucky to be on that team because I stunk as a player, but I was just on their team. So thank you, boys.
Well, hey, you guys, you had a heck of a run with the Red Sox, 2003, 2005. A bunch of great players you played with. Is there one teammate of those that really stood out that you really got along with or had some great memories?
Big Papi, we all came over there in 2003 as non-tendered players. And it was pretty awesome because this guy got non-tendered by the Minnesota Twins. And people forget that. And so myself with the Marlins, we had Todd Walker was with the Reds, and, Jeremy Jumby, rest his soul, came over from Oakland. So we had a bunch of guys, Billy Miller from the Cubs that was non-tendered because he had a broken kneecap the year before and then wins the batting title in 2003 for the Boston Red Sox. And people forget about that. Hit ninth for us. So we had a lot of non-tenders, a lot of dudes that the kind of people that know who they were. And it was so cool to kind of see this group kind of go together. And Big Papi was a part of that. And we got close in the talks and, following Manny Ramirez around, he was able to kind of put it into play. I was trying to be Manny Ramirez and I couldn't quite put it in play. I dropped off short with my play, but it was, we had such a great group of dudes. And I think that's what I always say is we weren't the best players, but we were the best team.
Yeah, no, I mean, especially just as an outsider, it did feel like that team had a certain mojo to it. And I think you would kind of need that mojo to really get through to break the curse, to kind of get over that mental hump in the playoffs, especially.
Yeah. You come in there and you hear about this rivalry. It's like, hey, the Red Sox Yankees rivalry. Oh my God, it's so good. I'm thinking, no, this isn't a rivalry. This is an ass whooping. They got 27 rings and we got 0. So it was our time to kind of change this culture. And that was kind of the way I thought about it. I was like, man, this is not a rivalry. I mean, Jeter's got a ton of rings and they're tall and rich and we're not tall. We're not rich. We're bad bodies. You might see us at the local bar at the game, but it was a culture to create. It was a team that was like perfect for the city of Boston because Bellhorn, Bill Miller, Orlando Cabrera, Trot Nixon, Veritek, like these are names like, they're ball players. And I think it didn't match up on paper, but it matched up on the field.
And as a Yankee fan in that time, the guy, Trot Nixon and Veritek.
We got Yankees here.
And you,
Kevin Millar's about to walk off, right?
Though you guys were the guys who it was annoying. Like you were the annoying players, the gritty players. And I think with the combination, like you said, of Ortiz, like I have a great memory of that Aaron Boone home run. And then I have an even greater memory of when it all came crashing down in the quote unquote greatest rivalry in sports. That was really just my childhood watching the Yankees beat the Red Sox came crashing down. And I think it's never literally life-changing moment. The rivalry quote unquote has never been the same. It's been an actual rivalry since then. And I think you guys kind of paved the way for the Red Sox to become an actual big boy franchise in baseball.
Yeah. It was like an underdog scene, right? It was just the way it was. I mean, and I thought it was refreshing because like 93, once your team was knocked out, we kind of gravitated to the Morandinis and the John Krukes and the Dave Hollands, the 93 Phillies. And I think the Red Sox in 04, we had that same feel. Once your team, if you weren't a Yankees fan, obviously, and my producers with Intentional Talk, it's funny because they're all Yankee fans. They're like, dude, I hated you. I can't stand you. I couldn't stand you. And now you're a nice guy. It almost makes
you're
me
a hard guy to hate.
I would rather not like you. And, so it's funny because that's the passion that you do love. And that's the rivalry part of it. But at the end of the day, Yankees dominated this rivalry. It was kind of like, how are the Red Sox going to lose? And, fever pitch. They already had written that movie, how are the Red Sox going to lose? Well, next thing I look over and I got Drew Barrymore and Jimmy Fallon over here like, we won in 04. Like, hey, boy, what are you guys doing? They had to rewrite the whole script. So it's an interesting dynamic, man. It made, I think for sure the rivalry we played in from then 03, 4, and 5, there's nothing better. We fought. You had the Don Zimmer stuff. You had the Gary Sheffield stuff. You had the A-Rod stuff, the Veritek and Bronson. And it's what it's about, right, as a fan.
You kind of hit on Boston's the sports culture. I'm an Eagles fan. They always talk about, hey, Nick Foles never have to buy a drink at the town, for the rest of his life. If you walk into a Red Sox bar these days, what's it like? I'm imagining everyone's buying you beer, reminiscing about the 2004 championship, right?
That's the cool thing. If I was smart, I would have stayed in Boston. I think, I ended up
tell MLB Intentional Talk, moving to Boston. I'm getting free drinks. I'm getting free meals.
That's right. No, what's great. There's always a story. There really is. Like you'll hear a story about a grandfather who might've passed, but he was awake and alive. The last, moment you guys won, he's seen somebody, ways the Red Sox lost. There's a family history story. There's so much passion. And that's the thing. I grew up in Los Angeles. I grew up a Dodger fan. I grew up, listening to Vince Scully as a kid every day. And, I claim Texas now because 30 years in Texas, I've been there 20 years in LA. I'm a fake cowboy, but you don't realize the passion that the East Coast has. And I have that kind of makeup. So it's like, it's one of those cities, like you got to have makeup type players to play in those situations. Philadelphia, New York, Boston, because it's not the good times. The good times, you're Aerosmith, right? Everybody's like, hey, yeah, you went deep. Awesome. It's the bad times. And so I think it makes you tougher. It makes you respect 90 feet. It makes you run. It makes you hustle. And that's one thing fans appreciate. I wasn't always good, but they appreciate the hard play. There was no like tickle bunny. And I think you're allowed to go out there and fail, but you better do it playing hard. And that's where they keep you accountable. I think those cities.
Yeah. You piss off a fan base by not running hard to first base. Trust me, it's the 100%. Easiest way.
100% respect 90 feet. I still tell my kids I'll whoop their ass if they don't respect 90 feet. You can't control results, but you can control playing the game hard, playing the game right. And part of that is respecting 90 feet. That's all I ask. I don't care if you're hitting 580 or 180, but just play hard. That's the big deal.
Sean, I like that. Respect the 90 feet.
Yeah, respect the 90 feet. I'm going to start using that.
Just tell them that Uncle Kevin gave you that because now you're a Red Sox fan.
Oh no!
I think
by the Blue Jays last night.
We're always like talking about stuff that can be done as far as bringing young people into baseball and just growing the game. There was an interesting moment a couple of weeks ago, kind of went viral, where Clayton Kershaw throwing a perfect game, and then Dave Roberts takes him out. As an announcer, as a former player, what do you think when you see something like that?
I mean, I hated it because I'm a fan of the game, and a perfect game is a whole different animal than a no-hitter. So in my situation, you're looking at a guy, and this is just me talking, in my opinion, Clayton Kershaw's made over $300+ million. It's okay. Go batter to batter. Go batter to batter. If he blows out and his career's over, like you kind of go up there like it's the old, all right, I gave it the best I could. The big picture, I understand all the lingo, and we need him if we're going to win the World Series, and we're going to need him in the start. Does it matter? I've never understood it because each day is different. Our bodies feel different, correct? You wake up, some days you feel great. Some days you got to tight back. Some days you got to crank your neck. At the end of the day, 80 pitches at some days are tough. And some days 125 pitches are okay.
Yeah.
I just don't understand. And I know this was Clayton, let's be honest. He has some elbow injury issues. He's throwing no more than 40 pitches in spring training. It was a shortened spring training. It's a different beast. It happens so early in the season. But at the end of the day, a perfect game. Can we go batter to batter just for fun? Just for fun. Like another 7 pitches, 18 pitches, 28 pitches. Like, we're good. It's Clayton.
Yeah. I mean, these guys, especially him, I know all the analytics, the injury recovery, that kind of stuff, but the guy is a peak athlete. If his elbow starts hurting at 85 pitches, then take him out. Or if it's, some crazy situation where he's up to like 110, 120 pitches. All right, then maybe, but at 80 pitches, it's like, come on, dude.
I get guys calling me. They're like, dude, your boy Roberts took him out, man. I go, time out. Get off Dave Roberts. Okay, this is an organizational scene. Obviously, the manager makes the decision, but you don't think that he's talked to Clayton too? If Clayton wanted to be in that game and said absolutely not, he'd have been in that game.
That's what I was.
A lot of stuff, right? You have the medical side of it with his, his elbow coming back from that. I totally understand that, but it was like a perfect game. And then Austin Barnes, how about being the catcher to have a chance to catch the perfect game? Let's not worry about Clayton. Let's worry about maybe a Rolex that he gets to get from Clayton if the perfect game goes on. So maybe Clayton got in that anyways.
Well, thanks, Kevin. You also settled an argument between me and my wife. She's a huge Dodgers fan, and I go, if Clayton Kershaw wanted to be out there, he could have told Dave Roberts to, get off his mound, and Dave Roberts wouldn't have done anything. She's like, no, he knows, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I'm telling you. And thank you, Kevin. I really, can't wait to get off this episode and explain to my wife how I was right. We'll see how that goes.
I'll just tell her 2-1.
Yeah, exactly. Now, what about the young players today? I mean, it does feel like, as far as MLB, it's a great time for the league. There's a ton of young talent coming up and kind of making the game exciting. Who is on your radar as an analyst that you really like watching, that you're really rooting for as a former player?
Bobby Witt Jr. I'm going to tell you, I went to Royals camp in Arizona this year, a few weeks back, and it's not like I'm going on the limb. He was the first pick in the world. He is an unbelievable specimen to look at. But when you're talking about, everybody's good these days. I mean, every pitcher's 6'4", they throw 102. But when you meet somebody that you know and that was raised right, his mom and dad, throws faster than everybody, runs faster than everybody, has more power than everybody, can do everything on the baseball field better than everybody, right? So he's like got that Mike Trout type scene. Humble, soft-spoken, yes, sir. And I said, your mom and dad have done a great job with you. He's like, well, he's got 3 sisters. So, they've kind of come in there and did a thing. But what a great kid. And every staff member, John Mabry and I played together with the Marlins. He's the hitting coach. He's like, bro, you got to come over here and see this kid take batting practice. And I did. Wind was blowing in. Sal Perez was in his lineup. Sal Perez got more pop than anybody right now going. He's found something. And I'm telling you, he's hitting a few home runs, and then all of a sudden here comes Witt Jr. and like there's these 5 irons. They're just like, and it's a different sound. So let this game kind of get in his soul and it slow down at the big league level. I think you're going to see a star here for a lot of years. He is a good player and a good kid.
Well, you mentioned the sound, and that is always one of the fun things about watching baseball live is, when these hitters come up. I just went to the Rockies Phillies game and to see Bryce Harper, the bat speed, if you're close, you can like hear that swing of the bat, not only the contact, but just the swing itself. And it's really an awesome part about going to the ballpark.
Yeah. The young guys are so strong, man. I mean, they're so strong and they're like prodigies because they're specialized since they were young, right? Back when we played, it was like you played football, basketball, baseball. You played your 20 games in high school, then you go on to the next sport. These guys are like year round. I mean, I got 2 dudes. I got 4 kids, but 2 of my boys. But I'm like, no, I think it's time to go in the lake and let's go tubing and let's go. They play. It's nonstop. It's select. It's money. It's a money play. It's this one. I'm like, what is going on? And they were, well, now they're 15 and 16. They're freshmen and sophomore, but it is amazing the specialized athletes we have these days. Like everybody is specialized and very strong and very good, but they work on their craft, and that's all they do. It's like a golfer. He's got a swing coach. He's on the driving range and they're going to hit 4 hours worth of 7 irons where you and I would just go out there and be like, dude, give me a driver, a couple swings, 2 putts. Let's go. What's the bet?
You're speaking my language because the wife and I are really looking forward to July 4th when we can finally be done with soccer tournaments for the spring. It's insane. Like I certainly don't remember it even 20 years ago having this much and who knows what the side effect becomes, but it's insane to see how good these kids can become by the age of 16, 17,
Can
18.
I ask you a question? Well, at what point, because I get yelled at by my wife. She's like, well, we got to go here. We got to go here. We got to go here. I'm like, no, I'm not going today. I'm just going to chill. Just let me know how he does. At what point did we have to go to every single game? You know how many games I played without my mom and dad because they worked? They were divorced. One was working. Like, it's like, I'm like, these kids grow up in Pleasantville. Mom and dad are at every game, and there I am with my legs, and there's Karen, and I'm thinking, dude, it's okay not to make every game. And by the way, they're like 45 minutes, an hour down the road. It's like not like you're right around the corner. In Texas, we drive like it's a big state.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be in Temecula 3 of the next 4 weekends. So I understand.
Let's stamp this, Dads. We can go once in a while.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or tied to some, incentive based agreement here. Hey, you guys get to the championship, I'm going to go to that game. You get to the playoffs, I'll go to the first half. But regular season, you got to see the win total go up. You guys got to take care of business if you want old dad to show up these games.
Well, you got one going here and one here. They're on the same team, so of course you got. I'm like, you know what? Dad's going to be at the home games. Let's just make this
exactly. Just play some home games. Tom Brady, of course, another Boston athlete there, got a ton of press, obviously retired and then decided to come back at 45 years old. But I feel like not enough attention was paid to you returning back to the St. Paul Saints for one at bat at the age of 45. Walk us through that.
Yeah, that was a cool day because it all started with, they asked me about a bobblehead day, myself and Bill Murray. Bill Murray's a part owner of that team in St. Paul. So I said, they go, hey, will you come up for your bobblehead? This time, like, no problem. I go, I need to play though. You got to let me play. Oh, let me see if we can make this work. It's kind of just, I was joking, but kind of not, but like joking, but not, but yeah, let's see. They call me back like, yep, we got you, cleared. You can play and this and that. So I hadn't hit in 7 years. 38 years old, I got released by the Cubs in 2010. Go up there, and I took 5 soft tosses in my garage with my kids before I flew out there. Went golfing for 9 holes, landed, went straight to the field, hit some BP. Didn't feel terrible. Did not hit a ball out. Tried to. Didn't hit a home run in batting practice. But whatever, moving defensively, you feel old. I'm like, that's where the age kind of hits you. Trying to move or throw to second. So I'm going to DH. The manager from the other team said that he had a problem with me playing the whole game. So my manager comes up and goes, I'm so sorry, Kevin. They said you can get one at bat. I'm like, tell that dude he wants this guy to play every inning because I'm old. Like I haven't hit 7 years. Of course but they're in this playoff scene. They're trying like, all right, whatever. That's, I'm cool. So I get up there and we were facing a lefty. And I asked the guys in the dugout, I go, should I swing first pitch? Should I just ambush? I mean, you haven't seen live pitching in 7 years. And they're like, yeah. So I get up there, I'm going up there and he throws a slider and I actually saw it. I'm like, oh, it's kind of like riding a bike. Like, I'm like, I took it. It was like, not like weird. And then 1-0, I'm thinking maybe he's throwing a changeup because I was watching him kind of throw and he shook twice. I'm like, he's throwing the heater. And literally I swung. And I knew it was gone. I'm like, what just happened? I couldn't hit home runs when I was training to hit home runs, trying to hit home runs, playing the big. Now I'm dad. I look like Brett Favre, all white, bearded, running around Santa Claus. And it was the coolest thing ever, man. It really was.
Yeah.
Take that, Derek Jeter.
Yeah, let's see if Jeter's doing that at age 45. All right, Kevin, before we let you go, what's your goal for the Club Corp Classic? Do you have a number you're trying to hit? Do you have another celebrity you're trying to beat? What's the goal for this weekend?
Always try to beat Josh Beckett. Always try to beat him. I showered with him when we were at the Marlins. And so I've known Josh a long time. So he is an unbelievable golfer, but I love to kind of like position players and pitchers were different. We grind. Pitchers are playing once every 5th day. Right?
Divas.
Ooh. But yeah, no, it's fun. I need to finish ahead of him and I need to get in the teens. That's a goal for me because I can't stand being like 37th. Like just make some putts. Stop getting so nervous and just roll the rock. Like if you make it, you make it. If you miss, you miss. But you get so sick of leaving it short, trying not to 3-putt when you 3-putt.
Yep. That's it. It's all about, just going up there like a good swing. You don't think about it too much. Just go up there, take a crack at the bat, right?
That's it.
All right. Well, Kevin, appreciate you calling into the show and good luck this weekend.
All right, boys. Appreciate you guys.
All right. Thanks.
Go Sox.
Thanks again, Kevin Millar, Robbie Gould, and of course LTC, aka Larry the Cable Guy, soon to be rebranded Larry the Streamer. Thank you guys for checking out the podcast. Again, we got you covered for the NFL draft. Tons of props, tons of picks, tons of live shows coming at you from Las Vegas, Wednesday to Saturday. Maybe some win total episodes as well, Ryan. It's going to be awesome. Talking a ton of National Football League. Drop us a follow on Twitter at Gambling Podcast. Subscribe to the YouTube page, youtube.com/sports gambling podcast. Kramer, hit it.
Thank you for participating in the Sports Gambling Podcast.
For the Sports Gambling Podcast, I'm Sean, stacking the money green. He is Ryan.
Did someone say draft contest?
Kramer, let it ride.